Hello, my YouTube people. I know it's been about 105 years. I was gonna try to put this on my legs, but I know me, and especially with my feet acting the way that they're acting, I know I will totally and completely move you guys around a million times, so hang on a second. I forget I can pause this motherfucker. I'm not used to that. Shit's so high tech. They've probably had that for like 10 years on computers, but I've just now got hip to it, so don't judge. Alrighty then, see my anti-wrinkle cream back there? Couldn't live without it. And my broken toilet seat that I have to keep popping on. Alright, it has been for fucking ever, and I'm sorry. 2018 has not been kind to me thus far. On January 3rd, I lost Grandpa. He passed away. I stayed home on New Year's Eve. I didn't go to Grandma and Grandpa's. And then New Year's Day, we went over, and he couldn't swallow. And when we left, I asked my mom, I said, did you notice Grandpa blinking at all today? And she said, no, why? What's that mean? And I said, well, if he's not swallowing and he's not blinking, that means his automatic response system is shutting down. And sure as hell, we went over the next day, and he had very labored breathing. And I'm like, I knew. Because when you study psychology, you also have to study Alzheimer's and the effects of Alzheimer's and the end stages of Alzheimer's. And the automatic response system shutting down is like the last and final stage of it. And I knew he wasn't going to be there very long. And then everybody came over that night because, we knew he was dying. And a nurse was supposed to come the following day. And when you, talk to the dead, sense the dead, whatever, a lot of times, at least for me, I can sense when someone is dying. And I can sense his spirit was mostly out of his body at that point. He still had, the last little thread that connects you to being alive, but his spirit had mostly left his body at that point. And around 3 o'clock that morning, because I couldn't sleep, when do I ever, I came to the bathroom and I was smoking a cigarette, and I just started crying. And I could feel him around me, but he wasn't dead yet. And I was like, Grandpa, death is not what you think, because he was scared of death. Very, very scared of it. I said, death is not what you think it is. You are not going to go to hell. There's no hell. You will get over to the other side. Most likely your mom and dad and your sisters and, everybody that you've cared about in the family that's already passed will be there. You will still be able to be with Grandma as much as you want to be. You'll still be able to watch after us. It's not what you think it is. It's not what you've been told that it is. It's not this final, game over thing. Yes, you're gone from this life, but you're not gone. You don't go to hell. You don't blink out of existence. All that. So, 15 minutes later, I got a phone call. Well, it was about 25 minutes later, because he died at 3:15. I got a phone call with my mom telling me that he had just passed away. And of course, I went straight over and was up all night and couldn't sleep that day. And I was very, very sick. River was really sick. It was just a fucking mess. The whole thing was a mess. Grandma has little to no memory of that time period whatsoever. A whole week is just gone for her. And she's still having a hard time, of course. They celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary last June. That's her whole life. That's been her whole life. She has, besides her mother, she's never lived with and us kids, of course. She's never lived with anyone but Grandpa. God damn it. She got married at 18 years old, and he was 19, she was 18. And, there's never been any other kind of life for her. Sorry if my ass was all up in the camera. This fucking toilet seat's junk. We need a new one. But, yeah, there was that, and then I've been very, very, very sick the past few months, and it's get one thing under control and something else in my stupid ass body acts completely fucking stupid. There was something good that I needed to tell y'all about, though. Oh, I finished Sleeping Beauty. I finished writing Sleeping Beauty. You can get it. You can only get it on Kindle right now because I have not put the paper book together yet to publish it like that, but I will. I'll get it out soon at some point. I turned 31. It's really, really no different than being 30 so far. Total pain in the ass. Oh, the court case. Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to tell y'all about. The day after Grandpa passed away, at 9 o'clock in the morning, I had to be at the fucking courthouse to deal with the fucking court case. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, Lord. Like, we had made peace with the guardian ad litem. I actually like her a lot. I know that's fucking crazy to even think about with all the shit I talked about her. But apparently neither one of us brought our A game to that first encounter because she's not a cunt and I'm not usually a cunt. So we must have both just been having bad fucking days. Well, me and Tony went into the courthouse. My mom stayed in the truck with River. And, I'm still trying to process the fact that my dad has just passed away and I was sick, and I'm just sitting there like, I was at that point where I was just numb to anything that was gonna fucking happen. I had no give a fucks left, and I was just numb. And, I saw Trudy come in, and I'm just like, whatever. And the guardian ad litem came in, and she said hi to us, and then she went over to Trudy, and she talked to her for, like, a long time. And when she came over, she said, "What is wrong with you? You look horrible." And I told her, my grandpa passed away, and she gave me a hug and told me she was sorry. And she said, well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have you guys come into my office and sign, like, a pact, basically. It's not as official as doing a court order, but it's something, and you guys both have to agree on it and all that. And she said, I think it's not going to be that big a deal because I think Trudy finally gets it in her head that she is not this child's parents. And at the end of the day, you guys have the say, and it's on your shoulders, and she does not get to dictate how this goes. I said, oh, you think she gets that, huh? Because at what point did she gather that information? Thus far, the bitch had not shown me any indication that she was feeling that or understanding that. And she said, yeah, I really do. And I'm like, oh, alrighty then. So we go into the court. The guardian ad litem tells the judge how she wants to do it. The judge is like, that's fine. As long as you guys can agree on something, you don't have to come back to court to send me the agreement. But if you can't agree, then you guys have to come back March, like, 21st or something like that. And it's going to trial. And I'm like, whatever. So we walk out, and Trinity's like, I'm so sorry about your grandpa. That bitch does not give a fuck. I mean, all I could think when she said that, because, she knew my grandfather was in the end stages of Alzheimer's. This was common knowledge. Everybody knew it. All I could think was, this bitch just put me through 7 months of fucking hell when I was already going through some of the worst hell a person can go through. Because taking care of your dad who has Alzheimer's, watching what he's going through, watching what my grandma and my mom was going through. And I mean, that's the same person. My grandma is, to me, like my mom. And seeing that, him dying and the way he was dying was killing her because she was too overworked, overburdened. And then doing all the work and being sick and getting sicker and sicker and sicker because by November I was fucking wrecked. And a lot of that fucking stress would not have been there. I still would have had the stress of dealing with everything going on with Grandpa. But the stress that bitch put me under with what she did, that is what tipped me over the fucking edge. That was the reason I was deathly ill by the time I got married. And, and it's like, you're sorry about my grandpa, go fuck yourself. But of course, I was trying to be nice. I mean, no matter what happens from this point forward, She's River's grandma. That's the relationship she needs to focus on. She ain't shit to me. I will never, ever fucking forgive her for what she put me through when I was already going through hell. I have nothing but disdain for that woman. I will tolerate her for the sake of my child. But anyway, off topic. Okay, well, on topic, but slightly diverted. Alright, so, well, let's see, River's birthday was a month later. I had not heard anything from this bitch. And she calls me like 3 days before River's birthday, and she's like, are you guys having a party for River? And I said, yeah, we're gonna have it the Sunday after her birthday, because River's birthday was on a Thursday. And she's like, well, can I come? I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know, keep in mind, we invited her ex-husband, his wife, his daughter with his wife. Well, they're not legally married, but they've been together for like 20 years. They're his wife. Had my grandma there who has no fucking love for Trudy. She saw what I went through, and she's a fucking mama bear to the nth degree. I'm just sitting there like, Grandma, hate her all you want, just please don't say anything. And she's like, that's just it. I'm not going to say anything. I don't give a fuck if she comes up to me and says hi or whatever. I'm not speaking to that bitch. And she didn't. She really didn't. But yeah, so she came, and it was very uncomfortable for me, but I sucked it up. I was civil. I was cordial, even. And she left, you know, and all that. And about a week and a half or 2 weeks after that, I wrote her and I said, I'm getting ready to call the guardian ad litem so we can get together a date to go into her office and do this whole thing. She writes back and says, I'm dropping the case. The guardian ad litem misled me, blah, 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 blah. Because I told her, I said, here's my, you know, how we're going to do the agreement. You can see River whenever you want. I need 24-hour notice. It's that simple. And if you don't like it, we'll go to court. And yeah, she was like, well, I can't see her right now because of my mom and my dad. She acts like she is their sole caretaker. Like she is doing what I did the last year of my grandfather's life and all the years before that, helping my grandma take care of him. She's not the sole caretaker. In fact, I will wager that she's only there for them when she wants something. But whatever, let's play in her pretend world. She's a Trump supporter. Like, you can see why she likes him. But anyway, alternative facts to go with an alternative reality that they are living in. Sorry. So yeah. Tony went in on the court date, and she really wasn't there, and it really was dismissed, and have not heard a fucking word from her. She has not seen her since February 1st. So, you know, once again, back to the old Trudy, because this was never, ever about seeing River. This was about getting her way. And when she realized she was not going to get her way, she was no longer interested. So I went through 7 months of excruciating hell because of her, you know, childish ass temper tantrum. So no, I'm not going to forgive that. I'm not going to sweep that under the rug. And we are not one big happy fucking family. When she comes to see River, that's what she can focus on, seeing River. Tony doesn't want anything to fucking do with her. I don't want anything to fucking do with her. Her youngest son has not been too happy with her. I don't know what her middle son's doing, but nobody's too fucking happy with her over what she did and the shit she pulled. And there's no fixing that with me and Tony. There's no way to fix that. So, she has a granddaughter. She can come see her. Give me 24-hour notice. Like, I don't know what else to tell her. I heard nothing at Easter time. We ended up not even having Easter this year because Grandma just, I don't think she was up for a holiday without Grandpa yet. River got plenty of Easter baskets. She got one from our neighbors. She got one from us, one from my brother, one from her dad's biological dad. Not his dad he calls dad, but his biological dad, the one that I grew up with. So yeah, she had Easter baskets for days, but I didn't cook. We didn't all get together. In fact, Grandma stayed home and said she just wanted to be by herself. So I sent my brother up. Like, listen, Ryan, Grandma's gonna be alone all day tomorrow. You know, it's her first holiday without Grandpa. She told me not to cook anything, so he went to my sister-in-law's grandma's Easter, and they brought Grandma food and spent a couple hours with her. And he said when he walked in, she was looking at pictures of all of us from Easters when we were little. And I mean, like, I still go there 5 days a week. And, you know, I'm not going to leave her hanging. That I promised Grandpa the night that he passed away. Like, I told him, I said, yes, we are going to be upset. Of course we're going to be upset. But if you wait to go until we're not upset about it, then you're going to suffer like this forever. No matter when you go, we will be upset. We will work through it, and I will be there for Grandma. And Tony wanted her to move in with us, but Grandma's like me, and she would never be comfortable with that. If it was a situation where she was mentally or physically incompetent, I wouldn't give her any choice. But she's not, and I'm not going to push it on her. Like, she knows the offer is open. We would even get a different house if we had to, because she couldn't climb up and down the stairs to go to the bathroom every time she had to go to the bathroom. So, I mean, if we needed to go someplace else so she could live with us, that's what we do. But she, right now, just said she wants to live by herself, and that's her prerogative. Like, I'm not gonna try to force anything on her. Did you hear my fucking kid scream? I will do a video with that hellion soon. Oh my god, she's been off the rails this past week. And we were doing so good. I've been trying to potty train this child since the first week of February. I have the potty seat, you know, the little seat that goes on the big potty. She has the little potty that looks like a big potty at Grandma's house. She will sit on this potty. Now, she's peed about twice and pooped about 3 times. And there's her father. But, she will sit on the potty forever. And then when she has to actually go, she jumps off the potty and makes me put her pull-up on her. I'm like, River, man, that's not how potty training goes. It's just not. Her pediatrician, though, was like, well, she's only 2. Maybe she's not ready. So I guess we're just going to keep wasting our time, hoping she gets ready. I don't know. So, today, remember last year I told y'all about my twisted codependence on the Witch's Almanac, even though I read the stories and then I stick the damn thing in my purse, and unless it's something really important, I don't pull it out and write it or anything. It just sits in my purse for a year. But I love it, and I'm completely codependent on it. So I got it for this year. This is the one for this year. The theme is Earth. And so far, so good on the little stories. They've been interesting. But I also felt compelled to get this. And I've never had this before. All I ever bought was the almanac as far as, like, date books and shit go. I had no idea what to expect from this. I just felt drawn to it. And when it comes to witchy stuff, if I have the money and I feel drawn to it, I'm going to get that shit. Because there's usually a good reason, and it usually works out well for me. So far, I have to say, I really love it. I think I am going to start getting this every year. But I'm still going to buy my almanac. I'm just going to have a bigger purse to carry them in. Okay. I'm sure y'all have seen the inside of the almanac. It's got the stories, and then it's got the pages like this that have the months on them and something to go along with, you know, that month, or just something random that's kind of cool or whatever. And then in the back, it's got your horoscope for the year and all that. All right. Good stuff. But this one is different. All right, let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, like it has, or at least this one. I don't know if they do this every year, because again, I've never got this before. But this one has like the difference in ritual magic and folk magic and things to do with your altar, and it's got the sacred seasons and stuff that you can do with the wind and the rain and all that. How to make and dress a candle. Yeah, it's also got this. I love these spines on things because I've been books back, and I have a lot of books that I've done terrible things to because they were not like this. And then it's got like a regular, calendar, like date book calendar. But then you turn the page, and it has, this was for January. It has like the full moon for that month and information about it. And it's got, and it tells you, because this one will tell you when things go into retrograde, but it's in the back. And if you want to actually be able to see it on that day, you have to write it in. Well, this one tells you, here, let me show you an example. See, Mercury went into retrograde the 21st or 22nd of March. Hang on one second, and I'll get it up for y'all. Damn it. Pages are a pain in the ass to turn for me today. My fingers are very dry. Yes, I am a page licker from way back. Okay, like it says, Mercury, I don't know if y'all can see that, but where's my finger? There we go. Mercury retrograde until April 15th. For Ostara, it has the exact time that the sun entered Aries. So if you're like me and you like to time your rituals as close to the exact moment of, whatever, like obviously you can't do that with Beltane and Samhain because the sun is not doing anything. But with the equinoxes and the solstices, I like to time my ritual as close to like the moment that the season begins as I possibly can. So I really, really love that because usually I have to look it up online, and this just saves me time. And it's got like, a little thing about Ostara because it was March's. But yeah, it's a really nice little day book. I like it a lot. And I think I'm going to start getting this every year too. Don't laugh at me. Yes, I realize for a sane, logical person, this would mean that I wouldn't really need this. Strange codependency. What can I say? So yeah, 2018 has not thus far been a banner year for me. But I did finish Sleeping Beauty, and I did get it out. And I encourage y'all, even if you haven't read Beauty and the Beast or Rapunzel, I encourage y'all to at least read the first part of Sleeping Beauty, because I want to get feedback from as many witches as possible. But, and I think I wrote this like as a foreword in the book, please bear in mind, we do not know, like the clan that I had Keela come from is a completely fictional clan in the Highlands, deep in the Highlands. And she has a very unrealistic, but in the book itself, I am able to explain it, book after book after book, that her ancestors have kept track of everything for a very long time. And part of her ancestry, like they came from Egypt and then up and ended up in Scotland. And in that way, I was able to kind of explain the more ceremonial aspects of her mother's clan's practice, because it's a clan of witches. Like they're all witches, and her mother is the high priestess of this clan, and it's matriarchal, matrilineal, whole nine. But yeah, I was able to explain it when, in all actuality, I highly doubt that if there was a clan of witches in the Highlands in the 1300s, it would have had very much in the way of ritual magic, or rituals, period. I feel like it would have been more folk-like, if you know what I mean. Like, calling quarters and all that. I don't think that they would have done that. They may have still cast a circle, maybe. But they would have used simple materials and, things like that. Probably maybe would have called more on the fairies or, but I'm able to explain how that worked out in the thing. And really, I did it that way more so pagans, especially witches of now, would be able to see themselves in it. You know, I did it more the way that we do it because in my experience, I have just not read very much fiction that casts us in a very fucking positive light, and if I'm gonna do it, I want y'all to be able to see yourselves in it. So that was my intention. Now, I will say this. There are moments where Keela and her mother have to literally make life and death decisions where magic is concerned. They don't have the, you know, and harm none rule, nor do I believe a witch at that time would have had that rule. If you look up Biddy Early, you will find out that witches at that time took, well, hell, she was 500 years later, so especially. They took a more, if you hurt me and mine, I am coming after you approach to things. And that's the approach my characters took. At one point, there was a man threatening literally the lives of Keela and her mother, and threatening in a way to expose the entire clan, which would have got all of the real witches left in Scotland slaughtered. And her mother let her help her do a spell to kill him, which I believe a witch of that time would have definitely done. So, that doesn't mean I would do it. Doesn't mean I would expect you to do it. I mean, if somebody was threatening to kill you, I would expect you to defend yourself in some way. Maybe not that way. But, yeah. So I tried to combine how I thought they would have done things with how we do things, so that they were both kind of in there. And I tried to give it a backstory that explained more of the way that we do things being in there. Just read it and see if it worked out. Just read it and see, man. But yeah, so I went like 7 months and was not able to write a single solitary word. And then about a month ago, I heard this band called Vaults, and they have this song called One Last Night. I was actually listening to the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack because I have found in my personal experience that a lot of the times the worst fucking movies have the best fucking soundtracks. And that just happens to apparently be true with the 50 Shades of Grey movie. It has a hell of a soundtrack. The book was absolute shit. Bitch couldn't write her way out of a wet paper bag. The movie was absolute shit, but that soundtrack, that shit's popping. Do people even say that anymore? Oh my god, I'm showing my 90s. Anyway, and then I listened to more of the band because I absolutely love the lead singer's voice, and I really, really love the band. So I've written like 50 pages so far, and the whole thing has been constructed upon Florence and the Machine and Vaults. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid. I missed y'all. I really did. And if any of y'all are still subscribed to me, or still care about me or my life or my channel, I thank you from the bottom of my cold black heart, because I am all the time just leaving y'all for months and months and months. And yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. Shit just gets crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But I missed you. And one day this century, hopefully I'll be able to catch up on everybody's channels, because I've mainly watched, and I'm not going to lie, Wendy Williams, Seth Meyers, and Stephen Colbert. That has been my YouTube watching. Listen to a lot of music, a lot of the same songs over and over and over again. But I've been all fucking twisted mentally, and I've had the depression going on, all that shit. So sometimes you just need to lapse into 3 straight months of Wendy Williams. I don't know. I love you guys. I'm sorry this fucking video was 30 minutes long. That's what you get for bailing out on people for 4 months. I love y'all. I hope y'all are doing really, really well. And I will hopefully talk to you sometime that's not 4 months from now. Bye-bye.